Charles Dwayne Baker Jr. is an American politician and businessman serving as the 72nd governor of Massachusetts since January 8, 2015. He was a cabinet official under two governors of Massachusetts and served 10 years as CEO of Harvard Pilgrim Health Care. Baker grew up in Needham, Massachusetts, earned an AB from Harvard University in 1979, and later obtained an MBA from Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management. In 1991, he became Massachusetts Undersecretary of Health and Human Services under Governor Bill Weld. In 1992, he was appointed Secretary of Health and Human Services of Massachusetts. He later served as Secretary of Administration and Finance under Weld and his successor, Paul Cellucci. After working in government for 8 years, Baker left to become CEO of Harvard Vanguard Medical Associates and later Harvard Pilgrim Health Care, a non-profit health benefits company. During this time he served 3 years as a selectman of Swampscott and considered a run for Massachusetts governor in 2006. He stepped down in July 2009 to run for governor on a platform of fiscal conservatism and cultural liberalism. He was unopposed in the Republican primary but lost the 2010 general election to Democratic incumbent Deval Patrick. In 2014, Baker ran for the office again and narrowly defeated Democratic nominee Martha Coakley. In 2018, he was re-elected handily over Democratic challenger Jay Gonzalez with 67% of the vote, the largest vote share in a Massachusetts gubernatorial election since 1994. Nonpartisan polls consistently list him among the nation's most popular governors. Baker was born on November 13, 1956, in Elmira, New York, of English ancestry. His family has been in what is now the northeastern United States since the colonial era. He is the fourth generation in the family to bear the forename Charles. His great-grandfather Charles D. Baker was an assistant United States attorney in New York, who served several years in the New York State Assembly. His grandfather Charles D. Baker Jr. was a prominent politician in Newburyport, Massachusetts. His father, Charles Dwayne Baker, a Harvard graduate, was a buyer for the Westinghouse Electric Corporation. His mother, Alice Elizabeth Betty, remained at home. Baker grew up with two younger brothers, Jonathan and Alex, in Needham, Massachusetts. Before moving to Rockport, he grew up playing football, hockey, and baseball. He has described his childhood as pretty all-American. Baker's father was a conservative Republican and his mother a liberal Democrat. The family was often drawn into political arguments at the dinner table. In 1965, his father became vice president of Harbridge House, a Boston management consulting firm. In 1969, the Bakers moved to Washington, D.C., where the elder Baker was named Deputy Undersecretary of the U.S. Department of Transportation in the Nixon administration, becoming the department's Assistant Secretary for Policy and International Affairs the next year. And in both capacities serving under Secretary of Transportation and former Massachusetts Governor John Volpe. His father also served as Undersecretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services in the Reagan administration under U.S. Representative Margaret Heckler. The Bakers returned to Needham in 1971, where Baker attended Needham High School. He served on the student council, played basketball, and joined the Mole International, a youth fraternity organization. In a Bay State Conference championship basketball game, a ball he inbound with 2 seconds left on the clock was tipped away by a player from Dedham High School, causing Needham to lose by 1 point. Baker graduated from Needham High School in 1975, alongside future governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy. Baker attended Harvard College and graduated in 1979 with a Bachelor of Arts in English, where, by his own admission, he was a C student turned B student. He later said he went to Harvard because of the brand and wrote, "With a few exceptions, those 4 years are ones I would rather forget." While at Harvard, Baker played on the JV basketball team. He then attended Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management, where he received an MBA. After graduating, Baker served as Corporate Communications Director for the Massachusetts High Technology Council. In the late 1980s, Baker was hired as co-director of the newly founded Pioneer Institute, a Boston-based libertarian think tank. Lovett C. Pete Peters, the institute's founder, later recommended him to Bill Weld, the incoming Republican governor of Massachusetts. Weld took office in January 1991 and hired him as Undersecretary of Health and Human Services. In cutting back state programs and social services, Baker caused controversy from early on. However, some government officials called him an innovator and one of the big stars among the secretariats and the agencies. Baker was promoted to Secretary of Health and Human Services